I can smoke too. Shit, this is beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, got my man Crooked Eye in here. You know, that's crazy because I feel like all the members of Slaughterhouse are people that I've been following on Twitter since Twitter came out. And I remember that one day that I looked at it and I seen Crooked Eye follow me back, and I was just like, oh, hell yeah, it's fucking lit. I fucking waited 10 years for this follow back.
You fuck around with Slaughterhouse like that?
Oh, hell yeah. We used to be listening to that all the time. I lived in Brooklyn in like 2003 to 2010, and we were just riding BMX every day. And that was one of the soundtracks for sure. I was a huge Joel fan, and Joe, more so than anybody at first.
Right.
Just
Ortiz,
New York shit,
Joe, on some New York shit.
And re-listening to all that shit, it's kind of crazy. Like, there's not really a lyrical element that you could really identify. Like at the time, it seemed dope. Looking at it in retrospect, it's kind of mind-blowing just to think about the idea of this, like, lyrical supergroup from all over the world.
Yeah, it was...
All over the country.
It was really a great concept, you know what I mean? Getting everybody together like that, different regions, different cities, different energies, you know what I mean? Different fans. We really united a lot of people too, like that probably wouldn't even fuck. Like some people that fuck with Joe might not fuck with me, or fuck with Royce don't fuck with Joel. We made them all have to fuck with each other, you know what I'm saying? And it was dope, man.
Yeah, do you feel like the shadow of that sort of haunts you in a weird way, where there's these fans now who are just married to this idea of this group, and it just meant so much to them? There's so many people that I feel like a lot of it is like the battle rap crowd.
Yeah, you know what's so funny about that? When we first did our first album, it was on E1. You know what I mean? So E1, somebody up there was like, yo, you guys should just do an album and battle each other. And we was like, well, fuck no. We want to make some motherfucking music. Nah, that wasn't the inception, but it's funny when you said the battle rap, it kind of took me there. But, you know, we had content, man. We had a lot of songs and shit that were about shit. Goodbye, Raindrops, you know what I mean? Like different joints. The inception was, it came from Joe. Joe had a project, and he wanted to do a posse cut. You know what I mean? So
the one with Nino Bless was the
Nino
fifth
Bless,
guy, right?
Yeah, Nino Bless was on that
there
joint.
Go,
Bless, yeah, Bless. You're right.
Bless,
Nino Bless.
Okay,
yeah, he was on that joint, and you know, we was all doing our thing on the internet. I felt like I was about to have to come at them dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because I was doing my weekly, so you know I was on the freshman cover. And, you know, everything was going good. I was utilizing the internet in a different way. People weren't really utilizing it like that. So, and then Joe, he kind of came up with, to me, I credit him for helping, you know, from a distance to create Love and Hip Hop. Because he was doing the Joe Budden TV thing, and he was showing his relationship with Tahiri, and he was uploading it when no other rappers was showing their arguments and behind the scenes. He was really, really giving people an open look into his life. And I think that, along with, of course, Flavor of Love and shit like that. But as far as just like a rapper being with a model or somebody, you know, like that.
I was thinking that was like the first time that there was like a famous rapper girlfriend that I knew about. I mean, I'm sure there was shitloads of them but you know, there was never a girl that was just famous for just being somebody's girlfriend. And now that is so the standard. Like, in fact, if any poppin' rapper wifes up a girl, boom, she's lit.
Exactly.
Everybody's talking about her.
And he kind of did that. So he had the internet on Smash that way. You know, Royce had the bar exams on Smash. Joel was doing all type of stuff. So, you know, I felt like they were getting in my lane. I'm sitting in the range one day, and my little brother's like, yo, you gotta listen to this bar exam too. I listened to I was like, man, this shit is crazy. You know what I mean? And then I listened to Joe. He did like a 12-minute song or some shit where he just going off, and he mentioned my name in the song. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, these dudes are doing their thing. And next thing you know, man, somebody called us up like, yo, you guys want to all do some songs together? And got that call from Mecca, from The Source. He was writing for The Source. And then another call came in from Nino Bless and was like, yo, Joe's trying to do a posse cut. Can you get on here? You know what I mean? He need that verse at 24 hours. I slid down the hill, dropped the verse, sent it to him. The internet kind of went fucking crazy over the shit. And we just looked at each other like, damn, that shit was dope. Let's do another one. But this time, let's do it in person. So I flew to New York, you know what I mean? And we did some shit at Red Spider's crib. And we did, what was that shit? Onslaught. And then after Onslaught, basically the fans created the group, man. Them demanding more music from us is what created Slaughterhouse.
You know, in retrospect, too, at the time, I feel like people might have taken for granted how difficult it is to, like, create a group of a bunch of dudes who are grown-ass men who already have rap careers, who already have egos to whatever extent, that actually could work together to whatever extent, even if it only lasted a few years. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We was like a fucking well-oiled machine in there, you know what I'm saying? We all respected each other. We all been through some shit. And a lot of people like, yo, why come Nino Bless wasn't in the group? I don't even know was Nino Bless interested in being in the group or not, but I'm saying as far as the group members, it was all about, you know, going through some shit with a major, going independent, you know what I mean? And having that under your belt, man. So, you know, we definitely we all fit. You know what I'm saying? We fit.
You know, reviewing your career, it's kind of crazy because it really makes me think just about, like, do you ever sit back and think, like, damn, I wish I'd been born a few years later? Because it feels like so much of your career was sort of squandered on industry bullshit, not being able to get their shit together, and now it's a lot easier for, like, a young dude who's got some talent to come out and just do their thing without needing the machine to get behind them.
That's an interesting take. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't look back. You know what I'm saying? I always look forward. I don't think I would change anything because it made me who I am and I love me. You feel me? But yeah, it was some ups and downs. I mean, I dealt with a lot of labels. I went through the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
I got my industry education. You know what I'm saying?
Up close
Especially
and
from Death
personal.
Row. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know how that go.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's all good. Everything is good, man. I just left the studio. I did a whole fucking EP in one day. I still get to travel. I still get to, you know, hang out with cool motherfuckers. I still get to do whatever I like to do. I'm very happy, bro.
Whole EP in one day.
5 hours.
5 hours? Yeah. See, I was thinking that when I listened to your lyrics. It's like, man, I bet it takes this dude way longer than everybody else I know to write this shit.
Man, I got so much in me, so many bars in me, so many thoughts and ideas. I have to get it out. It's my therapy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm writing for people. I'm putting freestyles out every week. I'm doing albums with group members. I'm just fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
And I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. It's really what I love doing, bro.
Have you always been as focused on the lyrical side of things as people know you are, as people know you to be?
Well, yeah, man. I think when I moved to, you know what I'm saying, we was homeless. We was broke. We was real fucked up when I was a kid.
But always in Long Beach?
I moved to Harrisburg for 1 year.
Pennsylvania? Wow.
And it was a lot of East Coast dudes over there. So, you know, when I used to go to the basketball court, they'd be like, oh, here come Cali. Cali think he can rap his shit. Yeah. And then they would want to battle. So we would be on the fucking basketball court battling every single day. And, you know, once you start making dudes look bad, you become a target. So everybody was coming from all over town. Some people catching the train from Philly and all that just to go at me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I got my aggressive flow, you know, fucking around in Pennsylvania. And when I came back to Long Beach, it was like, damn, my style is different than the homies. You know what I'm saying?
You can't think of anybody from Long Beach who ever really rapped like that, right?
Nah.
Or at least who made it.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, my style is way more aggressive. It's way different. And I stood out that way, though. It was cool. Some of my OG homies, they didn't understand it, though. My gangster homies. That's why, like, when Gucci Mane say, you know, I don't ride to Eminem, it's not nothing that shocks me. You know what I mean? Because my OG homies, they not going to ride to Eminem. They want to hear something they could digest very easily, some gangster shit, some street shit, some drug dope dealing, you know? That's what they want to hear. So, you know, I stood out, and they was like, man, what you be talking about, cuz? You know what I'm saying? Like, they like, man, I got to listen hard when I listen to your shit. But when they start seeing the reaction of the crowd, and people in the business saying, yo, that motherfucker is cold. You know what I'm saying? Then they like, oh, I get it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I thank God that I went through those, you know what I mean, trenches on the East Coast and had to defend my craft over there, you know what I mean? Because it made me who I am. It made my style get a little more aggressive, get more, you know, like you say, lyrical, you know, pay attention to the metaphors, the punchlines, the cadences, the patterns, the breakdowns in the beat, all that shit. You know, it made me really study the game.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
No, definitely. Now, it's crazy to even imagine a time in which there would have been like high school students at a school in Pennsylvania that could have even like tested anything to do with what you were doing lyrically at the time, especially because I'm imagining them and imagining what their perspective on LA must have been.
Yeah, that perspective was, you know, the movies, Menace to Society, you know, all that
all
shit.
of us, everyone from I'm from the East Coast too, and I remember just growing up. I thought Snoop Dogg and Coolio must be in the same gang. I was
You know
like,
what I'm
"Damn,
saying? Like
they
they
together
must,
all the time.
Okay, all the Crips are all together.
Yes,
You know, and I was a dropout, so you know we was doing bad out there too. So I would come up to the schools and shit to hustle. You know what I'm saying, and then be back at the motherfucking apartment and shit. You know what I'm saying, but. It was just a good time for me to learn, you know what I mean? It taught me a whole lot of shit about, you know, being, you know, battle rap, you know what I'm saying? And just to be competitive, the spirit of competition.
Yeah, I mean, like I did the Disaster interview recently. I'm about to interview Daylight any day now, so I just been spending a lot of time just like reviewing rap battles and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's such a fascinating subgenre of rap that is in a lot of ways like represents like the core of hip hop more than the stuff that is popular.
Right.
It's such like a different dynamic, and it's so interesting to me to see what people are drawn towards this style of rap and what people like choose to make this, because a lot of these battle rap dudes, I realize now I'm following them, like they live to fucking beef. Like,
right.
To just argue and shit on Twitter
it.
to an extent that you never see normal rappers do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
there's a lot of like, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
You're like, I saw you run from so and so. I saw you, like, you know, in a way, and it's so casual. It's not this huge thing when rappers.
It's no
diss each
big
other.
deal. It's like, yo, we're confrontational, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of these dudes, man, in the mainstream, they go listen to those battle rappers and they steal punchlines, metaphors and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I bet they do, damn.
And so, you know,
Take it, dumb it down a bunch.
dumb it down, but say, hey, I want at least one stinger in this 16.
Right.
And then they don't give the guys the credit. And, you know, it's a subculture, but I mean, it's a competition thing, man. Because I was like, man, who the fuck is Adam 22, man? You know what I'm saying? So I started like, man, let me find out about this guy. So you were like a prolific BMX rider.
I was never like a dope BMX pro or anything. I was just a guy with a camera who then I started like the first BMX website. And so, because I was also just always a rap fan, and I was looking at Now Right, Two Dope Boys, and I was just a fan. I was like 19, 20 looking at that, and I was like, fuck, you know, I can do this where I have a blog and I can make it about BMX bikes.
Right.
And then allowed me to like, because I realized that in like 2006, it allowed me to like leapfrog ahead of all the magazines and shit and just develop like a crazy fan base. And then over time just started to fuck with rappers, do rap interviews, and then all of a sudden that just became so much bigger than anything I was doing with the bike stuff.
Well, I mean, look though, and I mention that because, you know, like, you know, the competition in BMX and X Games and all that type of shit, you know, I'm pretty sure that you can relate to that, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, just how you could freestyle on a bike, you know what I'm saying? That's how that's how I approach rapping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate when a motherfucker got the same pattern, the same flow, every fucking song. We was just talking about that shit on the way here. It's like, I don't like that. I mean, it could be dope as fuck, but you're only going to get so many points from me. You're not going to get the Jedi stamp.
Yeah.
But like BMX riding, I hit the ramp, I'm doing tricks, I'm coming. It's just, I do that verbally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that in a lot of ways it kind of fucked me up in the head, in the sense that I've never felt like I really got pleasure from just the act of doing something. I feel like I get my enjoyment from the act of feeling like I'm getting better at something.
Right.
But then I don't end up focusing on just reveling in the act of doing it. Like for me, if I was a rapper, I feel like I would be obsessed with getting better at rapping, and I wouldn't give a fuck about just rapping regular. Like it's all about the advancement, you know?
Exactly, bro. What got you into rap?
I mean, probably just how fucking cool Snoop Dogg seemed when I was like 9 years old. Like I remember just like hearing nothing but a G thing. I remember being like shocked by the beats and like just really like taken aback. And it's crazy to think that still to this day, the Chronic and Doggy Style are spoken about like these fucking things that just like shattered previous, you know, concepts of what hip hop was. And even as a 9-year-old that didn't know anything about rap, that is exactly how I felt about it. Was like, this is like a sound. This sounds like the future.
Yeah.
The G-Funk shit.
That G-Funk shit was hard, you know, and, you know, I like to give hats off, too, because you got Above the Law. You know, Big Hutch was very instrumental in creating that sound, you know what I'm saying? And you got, you know, Warren G, the G-Funk era. You got, you know, the Snoop shit. Doggy Style is arguably the best debut album, rap album in history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like a lot of people probably can't wrap their head around about how fucking cool Snoop seemed at that moment, because he was just tall, long-ass flannel shirt, big-ass afro. I had never seen anybody who made gangbanging look super cool.
Exactly.
You know, I liked NWA, but even, and sonically too, like when you really think about what NWA sounded like versus fucking the Chronic, it's like, no, this is music.
It's night and day.
The beats on all the NWA shit is like Public Enemy style shit, a lot of it and stuff, and it's dope. It has
break beats,
has a good
shit
feel
coming in, and
but
all that.
But it is not
it's
like
real
that
rough
that
and
Chronic
rugged.
shit. Yeah,
no, that shit. He brought them keyboards in and fucking live instruments. You know what I'm saying? That shit was just. I mean, when you listen to it now, dog, it's just crazy. You know, it stood the test of time, and they made masterpieces. And like you said, the key word to me is cool. You know, anytime that you can make something cool, you know what I mean, you have a lot of power and a lot of value. So he made a lifestyle that is normally frowned upon, looked down upon. He made it cool, you know, and he gave them an insight that, you know what, these are human beings too. These ain't animals. You know what I'm saying? These are motherfuckers, and this is what they do.
And there was so much, like, at that time, there was so much in the news, because even before I loved Snoop, I remember, like, seeing gangbanging shit on the news and being kind of fascinated by this idea, like, what the fuck is a blood and a Crip, and et cetera, et cetera. And then Snoop Dogg comes out, and it sort of humanizes this whole thing that previously I was hearing politicians talk about it on TV and hearing about, you know, because, like, gangster rap was a scapegoat at the time.
Exactly.
Big time.
People
forget about that.
Yo, they use that shit as the monster because they always got to have an enemy. They always got to have somebody, you know, that they could take shots at, the politicians. Yeah. So they just say, hey, there we go, gangster rap. Trump right now, he says it's MS-13. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's the immigration, it's the, you know, the Mexicans or whatever. So they just find these fucking enemies, you know what I mean? And then they give the people something to root for. Yeah, get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? Remember they were running
Violent
over fucking
was the other big one at the time. It was like Mortal Kombat and like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and shit.
Exactly.
These are our enemies.
These are enemies. Keep your kids away, which only made the kids go to it. You know what I mean? And, you know, they were doing numbers. Like, I'm talking, man, 4 million records. Like, some of the biggest hip-hop stars that we looked up to and hung their posters on the wall were going platinum, double platinum.
Yeah.
Snoop rolled through 4 million. Chronic, 4 million, 5 million. Like, what the fuck?
The question you just asked me is a good one for me to ask you, too, though. What was the, like, initial thing that drew you to hip-hop? What was the artist?
Man, my mom was a singer. So she used to play a lot of music around the house, you know what I'm saying? And she would play everything. Yeah. So even she would go way back to fucking Sugar Hill Gang and shit playing around when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? And motherfucking, you know, Melly Mel and, you know, everything. So it kind of just stuck with me like, yo, I could do this shit. I started learning different rap songs and was like, yo, I want to rap. And so, you know, my mom, my auntie, rest in peace, they took me to the studio. I was 8 years old. I did a song called The Controller. You know, CONTROL, I spell. The beat is a hammer and my rhyme is the nail. I'm driving it into your rhythm cell. You know, this was me when I was fucking 8 years old, sitting in the studio recording my first rap. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing right there.
So, you know, since then it's just been in me, man. You know.
How did your aunt get killed?
My aunt, man, she was raped and murdered in Indiana, and you know, the guy, she didn't want nothing to do with some guy, and he was crazy, and he took her life, man, and he dumped her into a garbage can in an alleyway, her body.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and you were real young when this happened?
Yeah, I was young when this happened, man, and I remember my other aunties knocked on my door, and my mom came out, and they were like all standing there. And we're like the black sheep of the family. There's no reason for all my aunties to be at the fucking door. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we were like, what's the fuck is going on? And they was like, yo, Charlene, that's her name. You know, my mom's name is Darlene and Charlene. They was like, yo, she been killed, she been murdered. And, you know, I just remember the look on my mom's face, you know what I mean? And that was her ace. That was her, you know. They were twins. They did everything together. You know what I'm saying? So she was like a second mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like she believed in everything that I wanted to do. Any one of my brothers, anything we wanted to do, she would support it. You know, she didn't have no negativity to, you know, say nothing negative to say about our dreams and goals and all that. And, you know, he took her.
Was that the first person you lost that meant a lot to you?
One of, you know what I'm saying? I was going to a lot of funerals when I was a kid because people in my family were dying young. You know what I'm saying? But she was very close to me. And then, you know, it changes your perspective when you're young. You know, you say, wait a minute, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So I think it made me feel like I need to really be on my shit. You know what I'm saying? And throughout the years, it's like I'm still trying to make her proud. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even though, you know, I feel like she's just looking down on me and I'm trying to make her proud.
Right. Yeah, I that was one of the lines that stood out to me on that. What was it, Pain Away, off of the new shit you've been doing?
Yeah.
That was a fucking crazy. It felt like that was just this moment where you decided to just like open up on that song because you talked about your grandma too.
Yeah, my grandmother.
Yeah, and
that's some wild shit.
You feel like she had that built into her head that she didn't want you to be dark skinned?
Yeah, absolutely. She told me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother she was like a nanny. She took care of some kids in a white family. She grew up in Oklahoma where it was this, you know, segregation was crazy. Even after it was supposedly over, it was still crazy. Mm-hmm. She's a heavy Christian, so, you know, she just believed that white was better. You know what I mean? So my cousins that were like way lighter than me, you know, she would treat them differently. And one time I asked her, like, yo, what's that about? You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, you ugly monkey and all this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was a kid. So I always wanted to make her like me. Uh-huh. You know how kids are, like, dang, I'm going to do something to make grandma like me. You know what I mean? But she make me do all the work. You know what I'm saying? It was just a crazy thing, you know. And then I got 16. I went down to Oklahoma, and I was staying with her, with one of my cousins. And she sat me down one morning and was like, all that spoiling that I did with your cousins, look what happens. Now you're the only one who comes and you hustle up and pay me some rent on time. You're the only one who brings groceries in the house. You're the only one who, you know what I'm saying, cut the yard without me asking you to. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. You working out here, you doing your thing out here, and I treated you differently. You know, and she apologized.
Really?
Yeah. So I started drinking coffee with her early in the morning and shit and talking about the Bible and all that, you know what I mean? And we had a cool relationship before she passed away.
And when you're a young kid and you have your grandma basically inferring that the darker you are, the worse you are, did you believe it? Or did you know that there was something wrong with this outlook?
I think I knew it was something wrong with that because my mom, she's real conscious. So she taught us a lot of things in our household. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she was really conscious of what's going on politically, socially. You know, there was Black Panthers in and out my house. There was, you know, Black Muslims, Black Israelites, you know, and even her white friends were more like liberal. You know what I'm saying? So it was just it was a different environment. I knew that my grandma was tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, my grandma tripping, and she don't like me because I'm dark skinned. Like, but it affected me, even though I knew she was tripping. You know what I mean? Because you want your grandma. You want, you know, hey, cook me some fucking brownies or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some cookies when you see me. Don't treat me like a fucking stranger. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it was really tough, man. And, you know, I just felt like some people might be going through colorism right now, and they might need to hear some shit like that.
Yeah, I remember my grandma, like, because my parents were so overwhelmingly anti-racist since I was a little kid. And I remember one time my grandma told me that before I ate an apple that I had to wash it because one of the little colored kids might have peed on it. And then my mom had to pull me aside later and explain to me that my grandma was old and a little crazy and that wasn't a real thing. And I never want you to speak about people of other race like that. Rah, rah.
Right.
And I just remember that being this weird moment where I was like, oh, so my grandma is not as smart as my mom. Like, my mom understands the world better than my grandma. It's weird because as a kid, you have this, like, blanket level of respect towards everybody who's older than you, or at least I did.
Yeah, the older, the wiser, automatically. You know what I'm saying?
That's a weird moment when you realize, like, oh shit, that's not always true.
Yeah, I never thought of peeing on an apple. That's crazy.
I don't know where the fuck she got that. I don't know who the fuck was picking apples in New Hampshire.
You was in the hamp. How was life out there, man?
It was all right. I grew up in like a small city of like 80,000 people, and the weird thing about that to me was always that I didn't know where I grew up. Like I didn't understand what this place was supposed to be like. And then I got older, and I would like come back with different friends to like, hang out for a couple of days or whatever, and they would be like, yo, like everybody is a fucking wasteoid out here. Like you grew up in the most white trash fucking place. And I was like, oh shit, like I didn't even know that growing up.
Right.
Like you go back 10 years later and you realize like, oh, there's hella fucking heroin addicts and crackheads walking around here. And as a kid, I would probably have thought like, oh, there's like the goofy ass lady that walks around downtown all the time.
No judgment.
And you don't really know what it is. And that's one thing that I wonder what it's like to grow up in a place where people have an extreme level of pride of where they're from, because like, I lived in Brooklyn for 7 years, and I got to see people who Brooklyn was everything. They didn't want to leave. They loved it. Long Beach is the same way. I lived in Long Beach for like 3-4 years, LA in general. But I mean, I grew up in a place where I was never that excited about it. I was like, but I was a half hour outside of Boston too. And as soon as I would go to Boston, I'd be like, no, this is it. This is so much cooler than where I grew up.
Where you grew up. And that music scene on Boston.
No rappers though, damn near.
Yeah, I mean,
tons of punk bands.
Guru left.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
He was from Brooklyn.
Yeah. He said pretending he was.
I mean, I never heard him mention Boston.
Hey, Guru ain't said the bean and nothing. Oh man, I gotta go back and check. That's a good Crooks Corner question right there, man. I'm glad you said that.
You know what was a weird moment in hip hop was when Guru passed, because that was sort of like early internet, and it was weird seeing it unfold online, because that other dude was sort of like putting out his own narrative, and it was strange waking up every day and looking at the blogs and like seeing this shit play out, instead of like, oh no, you get XXL at the end of the month and you read this little write-up on
whatever that write-up says. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, the internet really introduced a whole new, I mean, look at what Cardi going through right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is fucking crazy. I
guess it's because she beefed with these bloggers too much, so they decided to sort of do. It's like the political like misinformation campaign type thing, where it's like, no, we're going to go through your entire history, every Instagram live video you ever did, and we're going to find every little offensive thing that you ever did, and then we're going to trickle it out every couple of days. We're going to put it out and like slowly try to consume you with this negative storyline, because she's suing a couple of these bloggers.
Oh shit.
Because they were saying shit about her that there's like no proof of, saying that she was a prostitute, saying that she had herpes, all this crazy shit that there's no evidence of.
So she was suing them, and they like, all right, we got you.
Now they want revenge.
And no, I thought about going back and deleting like all my old shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first got online, I was like, okay, well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this
talking
is what
like
it's
you were
about.
On the corner,
You're talking like we was on the fucking corner. My first Instagram post is wild. I went back and tried to delete that motherfucker like a motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like.
You remember what you said?
Well, I had my pistols and, all this type of shit, you know what I mean? I got a Long Beach hat sitting in there. I took a cool-ass picture, you know what I'm saying?
It would probably get a lot of likes to this day.
Exactly. I was like, dog, that's what I thought it was about. I'm like, yo, I'm on Instagram now. Fuck with me, East Side. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, no, that's not it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But when you first got online, that was what it was. I remember, like, some of the stuff that they exposed, like, down the road, I remember, like, they showed Troy Ave's tweets from like 2008 when Twitter first came out, and he was calling everybody gay and calling everybody a weirdo and talking shit about Kendrick. And it's just like, bro, everybody was open as fuck on Twitter back then.
Yo, that's the thing, man. You can't be, sometimes when you're becoming the new version of yourself, you're getting some success, things are going good. Sometimes you got to lock that old version in the closet. You know what I mean? You got to lock him up. Don't let him come out, you know what I'm saying? Because, not only is it the past and you're supposed to look forward, but that old version, he wasn't made for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't made for the internet and social media, and, you can get caught up over some old shit. And it's, with the Cardi shit, it's like, yo, I kind of get it, you know what I mean? Because a lot of us did things in the past that we're not proud of right now, just trying to make it. When you're in the ghetto and the hood, your fucking mindset is all fucked up. You don't really understand. It's hard for you to think outside of your circumstances. It's hard for you to think bigger than your environment. So everything is about the environment. Oh, this motherfucker down here shot at me, so it's on with him. Oh, this motherfucker cops over here always fucking with me. Oh, they don't like me because I'm black and they from a Mexican hood. Oh, this and this and that. And you live that reality and you start talking, and that's all in your conversation because it's in your skin, it's in your blood. So, you come on into the public arena and motherfuckers looking at you like you're a fucking alien. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's just the mindset. The mindset is just on. I'm active. I'm turned up. This is what it is. And when you become, a newer version of yourself and you start chasing dreams and working hard and start seeing some success, achieving some goals, you going uphill now. You got to leave all the downhill shit behind you. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't go uphill with a bunch of downhill shit following you.
A lot of the shit doesn't really make a lot of sense when you really dig into it, because at the end of the day, what's she really talking about? She's talking about robbing dudes. How many goddamn rappers that are legendary as fuck? How many hip-hop classics are there that are basically just about robbing somebody? Never mind killing somebody, shooting up a building, et cetera, et cetera. There's infinity classic songs about that topic.
Infinity.
And we've always, as a rap community, people look at that stuff and they acknowledge it for what it is. It's like nobody really thinks that the person saying that is still doing that, or at least you hope that they're not. But it's a question of, her as a woman, I think, has a lot to do with it. We're looking at her and judging her by a different standard. And also, I think this is like an awkward hip-hop growing pain moment. Really? Because people are starting to look at the lyrical content in rap and judge it by the standard that they judge everything else in our culture, which is weird because for all these years, rap seemed like a fucking sandbox where guys who were disgruntled, who felt, like they had, grew up with a bad upbringing that sort of justified whatever they were going through or whatever they had done to make money or to establish themselves. And now people are looking at the context of all this hip hop history and saying, well, no, actually, this is really problematic.
Yeah, and especially because of the R. Kelly shit. You got the R. Kelly shit, you got the Michael Jackson shit, you know what I'm saying? And, people are saying, well, if it was a man who said it, they would be, crucifying her and things of that nature, you know what I mean?
But people are trying to compare it to drugging and raping a girl, which it's not that. It's drugging and robbing somebody, which to her, she didn't rob somebody with a pistol, but she's a little girl. She probably needed to drug one of these dudes if she wanted to rob them. That's just a realistic scenario for her.
Yeah. And like I said on Twitter, dog, like a stripper tried to rob me right in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was on some 151 and I was fucked up.
Just out your pocket?
And she just, I had a bunch of cash in my pocket because I'm in here throwing ones. I came in with a lot of cash. And I'm like, not even fucking paying attention. And she slid her hand straight in my pocket. And I'm like, what the
That's the name of the game in there. What do you think they're talking about when we're not around?
And that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, this type of shit happens. I'm pretty sure Cardi B wishes that she never had to be in a circumstance or live a type of life she had to live where she felt that was something that she needed to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Now they saying the guys coming out, this shit is unfolding. They loved her rawness. They loved her personality, her I don't give a fuck attitude.
But then all of a sudden you're on Pepsi. You're on Pepsi doing the Super Bowl commercial. Oh, we don't want you to be raw no more. And the shit you did 3, 4, 5 years ago, that shouldn't be raw either. That shit should line up with the standards of what you're doing right now.
Whatever will make you will break you sometimes. What lifts you up will take you down. Her rawness lifted her up. Rawness taking her down right now. So, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people want to be super judgmental about certain shit, and they act like they ain't never did shit in their life. You know what I'm saying? So we going to see how this all plays out. But I don't believe that that's Cardi B right now. You know what I'm saying?
I think really at the end of the day, it's a question of forgiveness. Like, how do we forgive people as a society? I was thinking about it the other day because I was seeing that there was this dude who was doing a podcast, and he's like a former neo-Nazi. Like, he's telling stories, and one of the stories is like, it's the worst shit you could probably imagine a guy doing. He's talking about walking into a McDonald's, seeing a bunch of black dudes, he's with his friends, and all of a sudden they're just fucking these dudes up. And I'm just thinking about it, I'm like, this is crazy. This dude did shit that is abhorrent, that nobody could ever justify, and now he's going around talking to these communities and actually doing like outreach work, trying to like get other young men who might be being sucked into this, trying to help them to stay out of it, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just thinking, I'm like, this is overall a conversation that our society needs to be having. Like, how do we take somebody who's done the worst things that we can imagine and then find a way to forgive them And it's tough, it's tough to process that. Like on an individual level, how the fuck can you look at this guy and think like, oh, it's all good that you did all this fucked up shit? Those are people that he was attacking. It's not just an idea.
Right.
Like
no.
actual human beings.
And because we're in the cancel culture. People want to cancel people fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Forgiveness is taking a back seat to being canceled.
Yeah.
We going to he canceled. Oh, he said what? 2 years ago, canceled. Oh, he said what? 4 years ago, canceled. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody is, I think a lot of people are acting as if they're perfect, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like because, we all got our flaws. We all got our mistakes. We all got things that we wish we didn't do, things we wish we could take back, bitches we wish we could unfuck, all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? So why? Why are we so quick to judge, man? It's crazy, man.
It's like we have all this technology at our hands, and this is our first effort at figuring out how to use it. Because I'm pretty sure that like 5 years from now, all this cancel shit is not going to be working the same way that it's working right now. It's just this is people's first time at being able to see somebody like Cardi B blow the fuck up, and then be able to access 10 years of everything she was doing online.
Your digital footprint.
We can't do that to you, really.
Thank God.
You might.
Yo, dude,
when
what
you
would
were
happen
18,
if fucking Death Row Records was around and Instagram and fucking World Star and Snapchat and all that shit? Man, dude, that shit.
I've seen blogs write articles about shit that rappers said that they did when they were 13. I saw a rapper talked about punching a girl when he was 13, and then they wrote a blog post saying like, yeah, he was 13, but still it's pretty fucked up to punch a girl. Rah, rah, rah.
Yo, let me tell you something, dog. I was right there, dude, when Benzino played the tape, the Eminem tape.
Ooh, I heard you tell the story on a podcast the other day.
You know what I'm saying? He really played that tape, bro. You know what I'm
he
saying?
did like a press conference.
He did a press conference. He played that tape, and my whole thing is at that time I didn't know Eminem, so I always was taught sit down with the person, talk to the person, communicate, and then see what's up. Because this person has a side of a story, that person got a side of a story. We got to see what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't condone him calling a woman a black bitch, but my whole thing is, okay, where's this coming from? What happened? What's the scenario? You know what I'm saying? What's the scenario? And I just think that shit right there, that shit shook the culture up for me because I was like, wow. And then it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the weird thing to see it not work.
Yeah. It didn't work at all. You know what I'm saying?
Remember that there was an issue of The Source where you opened it up and it had a big spread in the middle with pictures of all these different poppin' rappers with quotes about how fucked up they thought that tape of Eminem was. And there was a bunch of them.
I was in there.
Probably. I was looking at it thinking like, I'm pretty sure Jadakiss did not want Benzino to print this quote of him saying Eminem ain't shit type thing.
Right.
I was pretty sure that like, even as a kid, I'm thinking like, man, did Benzino just call Jadakiss, get a quote from him and then print it?
Yeah, probably did. But, that shit was crazy. But, I mean, now it's even worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
thank God that tape came out because that's one thing is that people love new shit.
Yeah.
Like if that tape came out right now, it would not matter. But it would be a big fucking deal. But because it's so old, because it came out back then, if somebody tried to make a big deal out of it now, you'd be like, nah, I mean, it's Eminem. He did something fucked up, but he's a good guy, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And he is a good guy. And I'm glad that I got to know him personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's a great dude. And he cares about shit. That's why I was not fucking with the whole culture when they started to talk about him on Revival, his Trump acapella. You know what I'm saying? Oh, is it real? Does he feel like that? Or is he trying to ride a wave? No, motherfucker, I know this guy. That's how he feels. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to turn on the TV and keep seeing little black kids get gunned down by the police. How hard is it for you to believe that bothers him? You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't fuck with that shit. Like
I felt like people did have a decent point though. Then they were like, "Man, Eminem hasn't had shit to say about this," but then all of a sudden he's doing an album rollout and he's got something to say. And not necessarily saying that that's a true thing about him, but there's a lot of rappers, a lot of people who don't have shit to say politically until it's advantageous for them and they need some headlines.
Well, you know what, bro? And he even touched on this when he did his interview with Sway. I had this song called "I Can't Breathe," dedicated to Eric Garner, rest in peace. And you know, I had a line where I say white rappers shouldn't stay quiet about this shit that's going on. And he told me, man, he said, man, I felt the fuck out of that line.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I even planted a small seed for him to, you know, say, yo, you know what? Crook might be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it was genuine. And, you know, I think if he comes with that type of content, you know, people protest him and shit. His protests used to come from outside of the culture. He was saying wild shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, oh, we don't want him at our college campus. He said this. Or, you know, they holding up picket signs and shit. You know, they don't want Eminem there. Then with the revival shit, his protests started becoming, you know, present inside the culture. Rap media people and motherfuckers, yo, this is not that, you know. And to me, it was like the first time that I really seen him be attacked from the inside of the culture.
Yeah.
Because everybody respect him. His pen, you know what I'm saying, is incredible. You know, and I mean, this dude gets on stage with 80,000 people in the crowd and he wears a Lakim Shabazz or a King Son t-shirt. Some dudes that none of his fans know who the fuck those dudes are, but they go look them up. Might even purchase something off iTunes just because they seen him wearing the shirt. And he does it on purpose for the culture. You know what I'm saying? So it was an odd time for me, man, to just watch the game turn on him. But it's good they did, because then he came back with Kamikaze.
A lot of times, though, I feel like the younger generation of rappers feels like they need to, or like there's a moment where they almost want to define themselves by showing that they're not going to be beholden to the prior generation. And that's a weird thing for someone to deal with, like you, who has these rules built in about like how these things are supposed to function. A lot of these young kids don't necessarily have that. Like when Odd Future came out and they had shit to say about not just Eminem but a lot of different like entities in rap, I felt like that was one of the first time I seen it. When I seen Soulja Boy willing to go at Ice-T, that was one of the first times I seen it. And now having something slick to say about Pac and Biggie, etc., it's not even interesting anymore because we've seen it done so many times as like a maybe an unintentional marketing tactic.
But how do they get so many fucking headlines? Like all I gotta do is say I'm better than Big and Pac, and boom, I'm getting headlines.
I mean, that's on TMZ. That's on hotnewhiphop.com. You know,
that's crazy, man. I mean, they got that energy. I hear even, you know, I think Drake had a line where he say the only young nigga doing it better than the old. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was definitely a wave at a point, you know, where it was just like that was what it was. But we come from an era where you respect the legends. You respect people who open the door for you. If you're on the street corner, you respect the OG. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. I mean, even with Kodak Black, you know what I'm saying? Where he's like, yo, but Pac and Biggie and stuff like that, you know, and his story he told about Sticky Fingers, you know what I'm saying?
You believe that story?
No.
I don't understand why they would even be in the same room.
I don't believe it. But my whole thing is I like Kodak, right? Like I'm in Miami for Art Basel or whatever, however you pronounce that shit.
I don't know either.
And I was out there and the driver, you know, Kodak come on the radio. And I'm like, man, I told the driver, hey, turn that shit up. You know, pull up in the demon on God, looking like I still do. I love that shit. Yeah. I mean, you know, he's a young gun. I feel where he coming from. And then, you know, and then he'd be like, I don't like old heads. I don't like his old head energy, which was funny as fuck to me. Old head energy had me on the floor. But I was like, shit, I like to do a song with the young gun, show him what this old head energy do.
Yeah, no, that's real. Kodak's a weird one because it's like, honestly, in my opinion, I do think that he is in the middle of a career that down the road we're going to be able to look at it and possibly, depending on the moves he makes, be able to consider him to have like a classic, great hip-hop career. I really feel like the level of influence that he has over these young kids, NBA Youngboys the same way, is unreal. But
his growth is amazing.
I'm not comfortable putting him in the same conversation with Tupac because we don't know how Kodak Black's legacy is going to age.
Right. I mean, my thing is I give props when I see artists growing. You know what I'm saying? When I first heard him, it was like, all right, that's cool. And then, you know, he went through his problems. He came out and he started dropping some jewels. You know what I mean? And particularly on the song with him and Wayne, I forget the name of it, but we were in my studio and we were playing that shit. And I was like, yo, Kodak is growing. You know what I'm saying? He sounds great next to Wayne. You know how Wayne will come in and he'll fucking wipe everybody up on a fucking song. You know what I'm saying? On a feature. And I heard the Kodak shit and I was like, damn. He's growing. I remember when I felt like that about Wayne. You know, the block and all that stuff was cool. But when I heard him do the DJ, because that's my DJ, and he fucking performed that shit with no hype man. He just walking across the stage spitting bars.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is an MC we looking at.
I had a moment. I remember I was in 8th grade, and I was like a huge Wu-Tang fan. And I walk into the computer lab, and I see the Wu-Tang W CD, the third one, and I'm like, oh fuck, because at that time, you know, it was like CDs like $18. Fucking, I'm like, oh my god, I was so happy that I just found this CD, and I crack it open, and it's Lil Wayne, The Block Is Hot, that album.
It was up in there,
and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know how to feel. I took it home and listened to it, and I fucked with it, but at the same time, I felt like very confused about like, am I really able to be a Wu-Tang fan and also like this fucking weird, wheezy voiced ass kid?
That's the fucking crazy shit, bro. You
that
just
now we talk
hit
about
on the nail right
we talk
there.
about Lil Wayne like he's this lyrical god, and it's very easy for me to remember the time when like Lil Wayne was the way that they talk about Pump now and shit.
Right. I mean, you hit it, man. A lot of these people don't understand they could be fans of people on different ends of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this dude is lyrical, cool. You fuck with him. This dude's not. You fuck with him for his vibe, whatever. You know what I mean? We could be fans. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dog, it's a strange time. I'm more of a unifier. I don't really like division. You know what I'm saying? I think that the community should stick together. I think the community should work together. It's really hard to watch sometimes. Just see all these motherfuckers going at each other for no reason, petty shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You still got a love affair with Long Beach?
Yeah. I love my city. I was just out there, man.
Oh, so you're not there most of the time though?
Yeah, okay. I move around a lot. You know what I mean? But when I was out there, it was, you know, I just walked, bro. I walked through the city. You know what I'm saying? And it just, I love it. King Taco. Let me go over here, get the red sauce popping. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop by the barbershop, holler at my people. You know what I mean? I love the city, bro.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that, you know, the great side of Long Beach has been ever really displayed on a major platform. You know, I mean, it's beautiful downtown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pine is like fucking baby South Beach. It pops down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, 4th Street is so different. I did not know that it was slowly turning into this fucking hipster ass scene, because I lived there 2010 to 2013, and I did not see a lot of that. I went back like last year. Oh my God. I'm like, this block is fucking lit. There's hella girls here.
I mean, and we had skateboarders that was, you know.
Cherry Park, legendary. You know, Terry Kennedy, his first kickflip there.
Terry TK.
Shout out TK.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you know, these little dudes is packing pistols and riding skateboards. They ride up on you and blast your ass. You know what I'm saying? And wearing skinnies when nobody thought it was cool in the city. You know what I'm saying? And fucking, you know, living a life, dog. And, you know, it's a great place, man. I just wish that we could show the other side a lot more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just in terms of how beautiful it is?
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Long Beach is a beautiful fucking place, dog. Like, you can retire in Long Beach. Get you a nice pad.
But you going to be up on Signal Hill or something, or are you going down by the water?
Water.
Yeah, nah, definitely.
Hey, you know what I tripped off of, man, when I was, you know, reading about you and the things that you've achieved and accomplishments? One thing that really tripped me out was your music taste. How did you, what drove you to get into these artists who are fucking humongous now way early?
I was just, you know, I owned a bike shop downtown. I mean, I still own it on Melrose, but we had it downtown for a few years. And, you know, this downtown was just, there was a underground rap scene, what eventually became known as like SoundCloud rap.
Right.
That was sort of unfolding in like downtown LA, all these crazy ass warehouse shows. And I was just all of a sudden, you know, Smoke Perps pulling up to my store, Lil Pump stopping by, you know, like, and then I started to do a couple little interviews here and there with like dudes who were kind of the forefathers of that SoundCloud wave, even though they're realistically dudes who like came out like 4 or 5 years ago. But it's weird to talk about them like old heads. But and I was just sort of there, just going to a lot of shows downtown. It was really dope for me because that was the first time I felt like, oh, this is like a side of rap that I feel 100% comfortable in, because these are ratty ass kids who are like skateboarder type kids and everything, you know? And it's like, I've always loved, and it's actually kind of weird for me to have come in the game having that reputation of like, oh, you're the guy who put Lil Pump on, because my rap taste was always towards way more street shit. That was always what I was more interested in, even though
Right.
I've never like been directly trying to be about that life, you know? And yeah, I mean, it was just like a real organic thing for me where I was already interviewing BMX riders in my shop and everything. And then all of a sudden there was just people coming through, and a lot of those people ended up blowing up. And then I remember when X blew up, and I had his first interview, which I did that interview when he had like 10,000 followers or some shit. So I was just doing it because I was just interested. I thought his shit on SoundCloud was dope.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, dog, that's vision. These motherfuckers don't do that shit.
Yeah.
They're not gonna look for what's about to pop. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna wait till you get to a certain level and then call you. You know what I mean?
If anything, like that experience of like, oh, so I'm like realizing like I did a bunch of podcasts not thinking that I was going to get anything out of it besides maybe like a couple $100 worth of YouTube money. And then that ended up being like the biggest shit I ever did in my whole life, was just fucking with these young artists early on. And that just made me realize like I'm 100% incentivized to put people on now and to like try to identify young new talent and try to help them come up, because I have a platform now where I can help them. But then also I've seen that there's a lot of positive things that could come from me too. Like
right. When it's beneficial.
When X started blowing up, and my interview with him was the only thing that people had to go on because he was locked up. It was like I had every label hit me up. I had managers for A-list artists hit me up. I never, ever even thought that I would ever have a place in hip-hop besides just listening to it. And I was geeked on even just doing an interview with some 19-year-old kid that I thought his music was dope, you know? And that to me is like the seed of everything that I want to do. Is everything should be based on like I'm gonna do things to help people, and then there's gonna be something somewhere that's gonna come back and help me out, even if there's not a big reward in the short term.
Law of vibration.
Yeah, like I went
you
to
put the vibes out, they come back.
One of the biggest things I ever did, the most views I ever got on a video in a short period of time, was when I went to Long Beach and did the video with Stupid Young, just inside the Asian Crips of Long Beach.
Right.
Blew his fucking career up. He had crazy opportunities because of that. I got 8 million views on that video, and now me and him, who, you know, previously would have had nothing to do with each other, maybe would have known each other to say what up to each other, like now me and him are like tied at the hip. Like every time I see each other, it's like we have like a bond. Just because I did something that I didn't even think was gonna be a big deal at all, and it fucking blew up his shit, allowed him to put on for his people and everything on a level.
Well, I saw that.
That was crazy.
That right there, I knew that was coming one day, because they deep, you know what I'm saying, and they real. You know what I mean? The Asian community, dog, and I already knew that was gonna happen one day, dog. I'm glad. I'm happy.
They started telling me like, yo, like, Adam, you don't understand. We're not like those Asian dudes, like nerdy ass smart kids. I'm like, bro, you have tattoos on your face. I know you're not like that. Like, I know you're not going to Harvard anytime soon. I get it. But yeah, that was an amazing experience too.
We got a lot of fucking talent in Long Beach, man. We got like Tay Third, we got Savvy, you know, OT Genesis, Vince Staple.
Vince is unreal. Vince is one of my favorites, period.
And that, I mean, it's just the city, man. It's something in the water.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time where everybody in the city had a deal, like Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was Long Beach. I mean, I could count them out. Like after Snoop blew the doors open, you had Warren, you had Nate Dogg, you had Daz, you had Badass, you had Half Dead even had a fucking record deal, Major. You had the 5 Footers, you had the Twins, you had Dove Shack, Summertime in the LBC, you had myself. Everybody had a major record deal.
Yeah.
The shit was popping, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm starting to see that wave again. I'm seeing Stupid Young, I'm seeing Tay, I'm seeing OT, Vince, you know what I'm saying? Like Tiny C Style, free Tiny C Style, you know what I'm saying?
People forget real quick, but there was a long time period there where it felt like shit. There's all these rappers who are blowing up that live in LA, but there's not many people coming up that are like from LA. And it felt like kind of weird. Like why, like all these people moved to Calabasas and shit. They might be at the clubs in LA, but meanwhile, it felt like a lot of the dudes who are actually coming up out of the hoods in LA weren't really getting on the same level. Now it's starting to feel like that's changing fast.
Yeah, that's bubbling, man. You see Jag out here doing his thing, you know what I mean? Like
Shoreline Mafia. Yeah,
Shoreline Mafia, man, it's a lot. I mean, you're right. Calabasas, a lot of out-of-towners in Calabasas, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of execs, you know, because I look at the entire game. So even when you walk into offices, you see a lot of people from different cities holding down big jobs that, you know, somebody in LA need to be holding down sometimes, you know, because I don't think that a lot of these people understand the scene, you know what I mean, as like somebody from here would understand the scene, you know what I mean? So it's really crazy out there, man. But I see people trying to do it. You know what I mean? TDE, they putting in some major work on that level. You got J-Rock, you got Reason, man. Reason is hard. I listen to Reason like I'm listening to a brand new exhibit from Carson.
I gotta say, O3 Greedo and Draco the Ruler, even though both are incarcerated at this time, those two are my absolute favorites.
I mean,
anywhere.
from the projects, you got Lil 100.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Lil 100 out there doing his thing.
We did a video with him and Greedo on the channel a couple months ago. Yeah.
There you go. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I used to go to the projects and watch. I got a older homie named Elijah. Uh-huh. When I was on death row, he used to have me come to the projects and talk to the young kids that wanted to be rappers and let them know they could make it out the projects and shit like that. And it was a dry spell, but now it's looking very good. I mean, damn, every other rapper from different cities, where they want to film their videos in the projects. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
Crazy though. Like how do you feel about that? Because I feel like if you aren't from Jordan Downs, what the fuck are you doing shooting a video there? That's weird as hell, right?
It's kind of weird, but you know what it is, bro?
Unless you got the connections and it makes sense. Okay.
When you grow up poor as fuck, you feel at home in a lot of hoods. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go, you know the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like when we shot the Hammer Dance video, we was in a hood in Austin. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I felt right at home. But at the same time, I know the rules. I'm going to ask the OGs around, yo, is it cool if we shoot over here? Because, you know, it's $1 million camera equipment in here and motherfuckers can get tied up real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know the rules, but you just feel comfortable. Like when we go to different cities, we go into the hood spots. It might not be the smartest thing, but that's where we feel comfortable at.
Yeah. Crooked Eye, legendary West Coast lyricist. Big conversation going about Blueface. How do you feel about his skill set and the overall performance? What do you think? A lot of people could swear that he's the antichrist of lyrics in hip hop.
He's not.
I would agree.
He's not. You know what, bro? Real shit. I seen his interview on the Breakfast Club, and he talked about how, you know, he's trying to get better and improve. You know what I mean? And he was very open. A lot of rappers, they're not going to be that open. They're going to go in there like they own the place. They're going to have a big ego, be arrogant. I got a hit out. You know what I mean? I don't got to explain nothing about my style to nobody. But when he was asked about, you know, oh, you rapped off beat on this song or whatever they were talking about, he said, yeah, man, I'm improving, trying to get my skills up. You know, I did pretty good on this new one. You know what I mean? Like I saw a kid trying to make it and trying to improve himself. I could never knock somebody on that level. Never.
That's a weird thing about Blueface is that everybody who meets him seems like they really like him as a dude, whether it's like media people, whatever. They're like, you know, he's a nice guy. He's a charming guy. Like you feel like you could introduce him to your mom and your mom would be like, you know what? I like that kid.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You know, we got to give these kids room to grow. You know what I'm saying? I didn't used to be like this because I thought, well, since I was 16 and spitting, then everybody should be. Since, you know, Nas was a teenager when he wrote Illmatic, Ice Cube was a teenager when he wrote half of Straight Outta Compton. You feel me? Everybody should be on a certain level. It ain't no excuses. That's how I used to be. But now I really understand that some people are thrown into success. Some people are thrown into the spotlight, and they might not be all the way prepared. We got to give them time to grow. Because a lot of artists get better over time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we got to give them that same opportunity to get better over time, and that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, the benefit of the doubt of just like kind of, you know, wanting to see somebody do good and not just wanting, that's especially with like, as a person who talks about rap on the internet, that's a big thing that I've had to realize is like, there's no win on me shitting on a new artist. Yeah. There's nothing good that can come of that because I look like a fucking prick. It fucks up, you know, if it could fuck up relationships. That dude definitely's got some manager that I'm supposed to be cool with or something, you know. It's just nothing good that comes out of shitting on somebody's attempts at making something out of themselves.
It's nothing good, man.
I think everybody figures that out sooner or later.
Yeah. We just got to wait till certain people figure it out, but that's absolutely true, bro. And then you got to genuinely be happy for people. You know, that's one of the rules of the game. That's a universal law. You know what I'm saying? You got to be happy when you see people on top. Be genuinely happy. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't even fuck them, know them, and they ain't never did nothing. They ain't robbed you. They ain't said shit about your mom. They ain't try to fuck your girl. Why are you so hot and angry at these people? You know what I'm saying? Be happy for him. He take care of his family, paying some bills, living the dream.
When you're young, it's hard to realize that you just love hip hop, you know, because it feels like you love your neighborhood, you love the rappers that you like. I feel like for me, there's a rapper from Chicago named Katie Got Bands, and she came out, and I seen a video of her, and she was young as fuck. She actually had a pistol in one of the videos, which was so crazy. I'd never seen a little girl with a gun in a video, but I remember just watching her and being like, holy fuck, like, I'm not going to be listening to this. This isn't for me, obviously, but it just got me really geeked seeing all these little ass girls in the audience screaming her lyrics back at her and shit. And that, I feel like that was a moment where I was like, oh fuck, like I love this regardless of if it's the shit that I'm gonna drive around listening to. And
Right.
that's a moment for you as a hip hop fan, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like you feel that energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, us as old heads, OGs, we gotta talk to them, not talk at them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta find common ground and take the conversation to higher ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they kids, man. We was there too. You know, I got my first deal. I was a youngster, man. I came off the block with a fucking welfare EBT card in my back pocket to motherfucking 6-figure checks.
Really?
You know, that's
6-figure check was the Death Row deal, or are you talking about before that?
before then.
You had a 6-figure deal before that.
Yeah, man. You know, I was on a New Tribe Virgin with Loonies.
Right.
And, you know, before they shut that whole department down, Virgin shut that whole shit down. But before then, you know, they cashed me out. And I didn't know what the fuck to do. I never had that kind of money, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, shit, what do? I'm young. I'm out here. I start seeing, you know, I learned fast, you know, girls that you thought genuinely liked you, just was close to you because of the paper. You young, you riding around $120,000 Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't hit me. It's like, oh, this is just a chick that's digging me like another chick used to dig me or whatever. But I got hip to the game, but it's a lot to take on for a young guy.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know what I'm saying? These dudes is millionaires. You know what I'm saying? They young and they got a lot of yes men around them. And they and I think the way that the OGs, as far as in the industry, is coming at them is making them rebel against. You know what I mean? And that's not good because, you know, a little mentorship goes a long fucking way. So I think that they should really sit down and talk to the young guns and say some real shit and drop some jewels. You know what I mean? And stop all that, oh, you wag, all this and that. It look crazy, man. It looks crazy when an OG is going at somebody that's like, you know, like you was talking about earlier with the hops and shit. Shit look crazy. You know what I'm saying? For me, I stepped back and said, man, this shit look crazy.
You don't think you would do that? Like get annoyed by something somebody said about you online and pull up to their show?
Well, I mean, we had a conversation and we both said, okay, no more.
And then he
And
posted
then he posted
fan,
some other shit afterwards.
He posted a fan wearing a Horseshoe Gang shirt.
Yeah.
And it was like he made a little joke about it.
Yeah, he
type
made
thing.
horse shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He made
my God.
He made a little joke. And my whole thing is, look, my little brothers will wrap circles around you. You see what I'm saying? And they out here grinding every day. They dropped a mixtape a month for 12 months. For a whole year, they made full albums. And they respect the culture. What I'm not gonna do is let somebody disrespect them on a level when we all said, all right, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We said it's cool and it's supposed to be cool. So that kind of got under my skin, you know what I mean? A little bit. Because I'm like, damn, dog, we just, you know what I mean, squashed everything and boom, you know, still, okay, cool. Well, let's take it to another level. You know what I mean? But the funny part is, even when I do that, I feel this low vibration.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that I'm listening to the thoughts of my lower self, not my higher self, not my best version. You know what I mean? So if I start feeling like that, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to back up off this shit because I don't ever want to feel like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I hit up Dame, man, and I was talking to Dame, you know, and his, you know, that's when he was still with Dame, and me and Dame always had great conversations. And I actually told, you know, via Twitter, Hobson, like, yo, I don't think you should leave Dame. I don't think you and Dame have good chemistry. I think what you guys are doing is amazing, and it will go to another level if you guys stick with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that was after the whole bullshit fiasco Vlad interview and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I felt in my heart. But yeah, man, that low vibe shit, I don't even be trying to be on that, bro. Like, I'm trying to keep my vibration up high. I'm trying to attract like-minded individuals. I'm trying to live my best life. I'm trying to be in good mental spaces, man. Like, all that other shit is whack, man. It ain't nothing to me. I'm not impressed by it either.
Yeah, it's weird to get dragged back into that, especially when like you're in a position in your life where you're trying to do something positive, something creative. You feel strongly about how you feel, and then all of a sudden it's like the internet just wants to drag you back into it.
They always want to drag me,
nope,
bro.
You're a rapper. You got to be bullshit.
They always want to drag me, bro. I look at all the comments. They want me to go at Joe. You know what I'm saying? They want me. I'm like, yo, dog, it's not going to happen.
What's the status of the relationship with Joe? You guys still talking shit?
We don't really talk. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk. I tried to reach out a few times. And, you know, last time we talked was when we did a pull-up episode for his shit.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
How long was that?
That was a minute ago. Was that about a year ago?
10, 11 months ago.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time. But, I mean, I'm happy for him. He doing his thing. People online really try to stir the pot. And the pot is empty, man. It's nothing. I'm not going to go. I got love for him.
There was an interview clip, though, where you really, like, I sensed, like, a real sense of emotion that you really sounded, like, disappointed when you were saying, like, how are you gonna let these dudes shoot at you like that? Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn. I'm like realizing, like, damn, on some lyrical shit, that must have been hard for you to like see Migos and Yachty or whoever it was at the time taking shots at him, and he was just, I'm gonna respond on the podcast. I'm not gonna do the lyrical thing. That made me like just think like, damn, the lyric shit is such a religion to Crook and Joe and etc.
It is. I was man. That shit hurt me. Like I contemplated coming at Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Just because
Joe.
He went at Joe, right? Yeah. Or
you know what I'm saying?
Before,
but yeah. Like I played a clip of the Drake diss to Joe on my IG, and I was like, and I contemplated that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much, you know, I love this lyricism, this competition, and you know my guys. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I didn't because, you know, at the end of the day, why? I mean, that don't have nothing to do with me no more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. I mean, I was asking him, why you letting everybody fire at you, bro? Like, you could step off the podcast for 2 seconds and clap back. You know, you got the skill level. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of attach, you know. Even though we're no more, you know what I mean? Slaughterhouse. Mm-hmm. We still attached. The fans come up to me everywhere. Grocery store, airport, hotel lobbies, everywhere. You know, man, what's up with these dudes, man? They diss Joe, man. When is Joe gonna come back, man? He need to kill them and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, when you gonna fucking do something? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think he took the right route.
You know, at
the end of the day,
a long-term way, I get how that was the right route for him because now nobody expects him to respond. Because after the fucking Migos and Yachty shit, where there's if he hating, call him Joe Budden.
Dude, I seen motherfuckers dancing in a club, and I seen a DJ pulling that part back and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in the fucking OHM in Hollywood, and they pulling that shit back. Like,
I was just in Australia with Yachty, and he's performing that in front of, you know, however 20, 40,000 fucking white kids were all on Molly and shit, and they're all screaming that shit as if they actually have a problem with Joe Budden. And if you were to poll the entire fucking group and you were to say, what did Joe Budden do that offended you? I don't think that anyone out there would have had an answer.
Yeah,
but that, I mean, shit, that's something.
But he became the symbol
for being a hater, old head.
Old head. Get off my lawn.
Yeah,
he became that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And you know that's why I think him and Academics chemistry was so good. You know what I mean? Because Act was the opposite.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like, you know, everyday struggle. Peace to them, but I just don't think it'll ever be the same.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know, I got love for Joe, man. It's Media Joe, baby. He's doing his thing.
I watch I told him the other day, I'm like, I watch an embarrassing amount of your shit. Because I watch his podcasts pretty frequently, and then I watch State of the Culture sometimes, too.
Right.
Although that always makes me think about just how difficult it is to establish rapport with people in terms of creating a podcast or something, because the State of the Culture shit's cool. I love Remy Ma, but they just don't have a rapport that's even close to what he has with Rory and Mal, because they actually are real friends that kick it all the time. Like, there's like a level to your discourse that builds over time, because every conversation you have is building upon the overall conversation. And that's why I'm always like thinking about that. Like, yo, if me and you did an interview in 2 weeks, we're going to be way deeper than this interview.
Than this one is.
Because we've already hammered a whole bunch of shit out. All of a sudden, like,
we kind of know each other now.
What's your relationship with Long Beach?
You know
all of a sudden becomes a super corny question once we've already had the basic level conversation, you know?
No, I think the fans see that too. But I don't think they dissecting it like you just did. You know what I'm saying? And understanding that this is what's going on State of the Culture opposed to what's going on a podcast.
They're working on building something, which is good, because it's definitely a very like different vibe with that and everything. But it is weird watching how different those two shows are, and watching what different versions you get of Joe. And then once in a while I'll catch a fucking Love and Hip Hop clip of Joe, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is like an alternative universe.
I never watched that show.
I've seen a couple clips on YouTube, and it is wild. I seen Joe screaming at fucking Safari the other day.
Oh God.
Wow.
Is that like the soap operas for hip hop or some shit?
Yes. I mean, it's like a reality show thing, but it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, well, somebody from Love and Hip Hop, you know,
they hollered at you.
Yeah, they approached me, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, dog, there's certain things I want to keep personal. My relationships, you know, my children, I'll keep that just for me. I'm a spectacle for a living. You know what I'm saying? And I got to go out here and talk to people. I got to entertain motherfuckers, and you know what I'm saying? And people they look me up and down and, hey, man, one of your shoes is dirty, and all, like they fucking analyze me places that I go, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm in a museum, you know what I mean? So I want to have something that nobody can analyze.
No, yeah, I feel like when people like shoot to stardom or whatever, they all of a sudden realize that privacy is like the only thing that they have, the only thing that they control. And I totally get why the bigger artist gets, the more that they pull back on being able to show that stuff. Like if I in your position, I think you're lucky as fuck to be able to keep certain things, like your kids or your girl or whatever.
That's that almost famous.
Yeah. You never made it such an integral part of your brand that you have to show it.
Right.
So it's like, shit, I'm probably better off just keeping this to myself, because
for real,
there's so much bullshit that comes with it.
It's too much, dog. And I'm going to go crazy and be my old self if I see people taking shots at my kids and all that type of shit. Now, you know, ain't no telling, you know what I mean? So I'm just thankful. And plus being on Death Row Records, you know, I was a kid with a kid, so I always had kids, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, there was things going on where enemies was like, yo, we'll kidnap your kids and shit like that, you know what I mean? So just that, I've always been, keep that private, keep that in the cut, keep that in the tuck.
That could get you outside your usual character real quick, too.
Real quick. I mean, has to, you know what I'm saying?
I don't have kids, so I can't even imagine how it would feel, but I'm just thinking about how it would feel. And it's like, oh, man, that's...
Yeah, I had an incident where some people pulled up to my daughter's elementary and shit, you know what I'm saying? And they tried some foul shit, and man, I almost got locked for 25.
It's a long-ass time ago?
Yeah, it was a long-ass time ago. So, you know, now that we got social media how it is, even more so, I ain't touching that. Nope. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, they don't want to be on that shit. They like, man.
Yeah, what do your kids think of you as a rapper? Like, do they get it?
Yeah, they get it.
Wait, what ages are we talking anyway?
They used to be like I was a stranger.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Because I was always on the road and they would not come home. Hey, the stranger's home. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you know what I mean? Right. But, I mean, you know, they get it. Good kids, man. I'm proud of them. You know what I'm saying? They do their thing, man. And I just keep it like that, bro. Like, I keep it like that. I still tell my story. You know what I mean? I still tell my story. I still, you know, people ask me questions. I still answer them directly. I still put my shit in my music, you know what I mean? But some shit is just personal, so I just keep it like that.
Yeah. How did you feel about Straight Outta Compton?
It's my favorite biopic ever.
Really?
I know that it could have been, it's too much, it should have been a docuseries or something. It's too much for a movie, but.
Damn, that's so true. It would have worked a lot easier that way. You can introduce a lot more characters.
Yeah,
and
man,
shit.
because Bone Thugs, man,
Yeah.
that shit is crazy. And
But
I feel like
you couldn't have brought them into the movie because it's like too much to just introduce them for 2 minutes and then just
yeah,
keep going.
yeah,
you know?
sold 50 million records. By the way, here
I
they
felt-
are for 2 minutes.
I felt having Tupac in there felt kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
it was probably necessary, but it was still kind of like, damn, like you're just gonna show Tupac like he's just some regular guy.
I really feel like Ren didn't get his just due though.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because Eazy-E is resting in peace. I could be wrong, but, it feel like Ren was Easy Man. So, you know what I mean? It would have took Eric Wright to make sure Ren's parts were, more, what it was. But overall, I really loved it, man. It was a great movie. You know what I'm saying? I went to the premiere. You know what I mean? Actually, Dre showed me some shit when the guys were doing their auditions for the movie. And because I was like the main star, I can't remember the main guy who plays Easy, I can't remember his name, but he's a great actor. I remember when Dre pulled the laptop up and he showed me part of the audition, I was like, this dude don't look nothing like Eazy-E. How he gonna pull this shit off? And after watching his audition tape, I was like, damn, I thought I was looking at Eazy-E, bro.
Wow.
So they did a great job. The movie house was packed. Above the law, everybody who was in the movie, everybody who was portrayed, the family members, everybody was there. It was a great time, and it just felt great, man, to see that movie, man. I don't know what's gonna top it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As
Like
far as
what are the
hip-hop.
bigger hip hop stories to be told? I remember I was interviewing Gangsta Boo, and I just was like, "What about 3-6 Mafia movie?" And she's like, I don't think enough happened. I'm like, you're right. Like, there's got to be a big fucking story, like a big plot twist in there to make a whole damn movie out of it.
I don't think they could ever do a real Death Row movie because it's too much street shit.
Yeah. But don't you feel like one day you're going to be 60 and you're going to be like, shit,
They're gonna
why don't
show
I
it.
just air all this out?
I think something like that will happen eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
And-
everybody will die over time. Everybody
it's-
involved
and- yeah.
dies, and it becomes like, shit, if I don't tell the story, everybody's not even going to know.
and it's a crazy story.
Yeah.
And even the end. See, I was the final chapter of Death
Right,
Row.
yeah.
That story still is untold. You know how many people got killed during that period? You know how many people went to the pen during that period? You know how many times they raided the office and took the computers and all that shit out of there, and motherfuckers undercovers posing as bodyguards trying to get jobs and
Whoa.
shootouts at the studios and all kinds of crazy shit. So,
Did that ever work? Security guards that were actually undercovers?
man, right before I landed, they told me that there was one in there.
Wow.
That got hired. You know what I'm saying?
That's insane.
That's fucking crazy. That's why I tell these young guns out here, you think they're not watching you?
Yeah.
The guy next to you might think this dude is just your road manager. He might be a fed.
Yeah.
You don't think it's that serious, but it is.
I was watching a fucking 6ix9ine interview, or I was watching something. When the 6ix9ine indictment came out, and they were like, just showing the group chats between all the other dudes, like plotting on him, and I'm like, wow, like
How
you
real is
cannot
that
group
shit?
text about this shit. What are
Yo,
you doing?
Listen, my G, you better have a good code word game. Your code words better be so
Right.
because
Or what about a
even if
burner
you
phone?
got even if you got a homie who get knocked for selling dope, and if he like moving large weight, your text messages are in that evidence file.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Those pictures of y'all just having lunch shooting the shit, those pictures have been taken. They putting tracking devices under motherfuckers' cars and shit, man, while you at the restaurant. This shit is real. And people, I know they get viral or they get attention, and we in an attention era, so they don't really give a fuck. They just want that attention, but dog, that shit is real. We got to be real careful with this shit.
And we've seen it play out in such an explicit way with that 6ix9ine shit, because you had
He was like 6 in a row, right? How many hits? How many top?
man, yeah.
He was like 6, 7,
more,
7 for
something
7
like
or
that.
some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. But I mean, there was always been this conversation of, and watching those old Vlad TV interviews, I was just seeing Charlamagne talking about Chris Brown and talking about Bow Wow and talking about people getting put on gangs once they're already rich and famous. And I was like, man,
crazy.
there has never been a better example of that whole system getting fucked up than that 6ix9ine shit.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. I hope it taught some people.
Yeah.
You know, because didn't 6ix9ine and X kind of communicate about, you know, being more careful and shit?
Did they? Probably.
I think so. I think they showed some kind of screenshot with them DMing each other saying, you know, that they need to be more careful or something like that. And then look at how both of those stories ended up.
I mean, out of
Shit
that
is crazy.
world, because that's kind of the world that my podcast first started, and you got 6ix9ine, who's almost certainly going to jail for a long ass time. X got taken out. Lil Peep overdosed. It's like those 3 ways right there. Those are like 3 of the most like obvious examples of how a rap career could get stopped real early. And even Melly, same shit, murder case. Like,
Yeah.
we still don't know what happened, but I mean,
Bro, they used to laugh. The goons used to laugh at me at Death Row because I was young. And I used to come, like, we was going certain places where I knew enemies was showing up because people didn't look at it like a label. They looked at it like a gang. They didn't give a fuck. And, you know, that Death Row chain was a trophy. You know what I'm saying? I wear a bulletproof vest, pack the P89, and they laughing at me. The goon, if you're going to die, you just going to die. You got a fucking vest on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm trying to go home after this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's funny now how everybody wears the fake bulletproof vest. It's a fashion statement.
There wasn't no fashion statement back then.
It's crazy. Everybody got to, like, because we had the situation where the guy tried to pull up on me, and then I was interviewing Haha Davis the next day, and he got, like, a funny bulletproof vest with, like, a cartoon of himself, a bunch of his catchphrases written all over it.
Man, and that dude is fucking hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Oh, my God.
Andy had just had lunch with Jay-Z before that happened.
You
I'm
feel
like,
me?
God damn, that's a hell of a lunch.
That's a hell of a luncheon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Jay just out here, the president of hip-hop, man. Damn, he's fucking the game up, man. He's doing some great things, bro. Like, that shit is amazing to watch.
Do you have, I mean, I know you've done your thing with the Horseshoe Gang thing and everything, but do you have, like, dreams that you're going to fucking executive produce or, like, sign artists and shit? I'm sure you signed artists, but is that, like, something that you want to do before you die?
Yeah. I got an artist I'm looking at right now out of Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about really getting involved with his career. You know what I'm saying? He's dope. He has a backstory that's incredible. Young, hungry, intelligent. You know what I mean? And I don't like to complain about shit. If I don't see enough of something in the game, I try to provide it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, get off the couch, go grab a young artist and get involved and see if I could help him get some shine out here. You know what I mean? So absolutely. I mean, I've done business shit on the executive side. You know, I co-executive produced this album called Forever MC. We had everybody on that bitch. Raekwon, fucking E40, Snoop, Tech Nine, Game, Lupe, like all these people, you know what I mean, that we rounded up for this particular project. It came out real dope. So I got my hands and shit like that. But yeah, I definitely have a vision. Like one day I just sat down in my motherfucking chair and I envisioned the rest of my life damn near.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I envisioned all the steps that I want to take musically and business-wise, and I just saw the whole thing.
Really?
And that's what I'm chasing.
You on mushrooms or anything?
I wish.
That might have helped.
I've been sober for 3 years, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Not even weed or
cigars.
just cigars?
That's it.
No alcohol even?
No alcohol.
Because you had an issue with that for a while, huh?
Yeah, man. I took some life L's.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
you
had
know-
some bad stuff go down because of that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think I'm superstitious like that. I think God will talk to you 3 times, and if you don't listen on that 3rd time, you out.
Okay.
And I got like two times, and it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like some crazy shit was going down. So
What were the incidents? Like just, can
Well,
you get specific?
on one I can.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? On one, it was just I had caught this DUI.
How many you got total?
I got 2.
Okay.
I caught a DUI, the second DUI, and you know, they were like, okay, you're gonna get a little jail time. Nice and easy. They got pay to stay. A lot of people don't know about that.
Okay.
Pay to stay is if you get something, you know, you only got to go do a month, you know, 3 weeks or some shit. You can pay $89 a day to be housed in a facility where you got access. You can read books and, you know, you can watch TV.
Right.
And some of these motherfuckers right in your cell.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I did that move on them. But it was crazy because I did this show called One Shot for BET.
$89 a day, like a Motel 6. That's nothing.
You feel me?
You've been on the road.
Like,
you know,
what?
that's cool.
89? What? I'm out here chilling. You know what I'm saying?
hey, hell yeah.
And I did this TV show, And there's a rap competition called One Shot. I did it, and BET picked it up, and it was like 2015 or whatever. And great show. Sway hosting it. Khaled, T.I. had all these great guests. All these rappers, these young rappers, fucking changed their life. They're floating on air. We did the last episode in New York, and I had Remy Ma as a special guest host. I had Rhapsody performing, you know what I'm saying? And it was just dope, to see something that I created on a piece of paper and hung in my fucking bedroom in a frame, and to see it become a reality, you know what I mean? So after, I'm on a high. I'm coming back from New York. We just did the finale. I'm happy as hell. I got to turn myself in the next day because of some old DUI shit, you know what I'm saying? So now I went from up here to sitting in a cell, and even though it was a pay to stay, every cell ain't pay to stay. So the ones next to me, I got tweakers, they fucking can't do drugs. They fucking yelling all night. I can't sleep. I'm sitting in here like, man, what the fuck am I doing in here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
why did you drink? What kind of alcoholic were you?
You know what? I was a functional alcoholic. I could still do my work, and that's what made it even more dangerous because I felt like, hey, I'm handling my business. You know what I'm saying? I drank a bottle of Jameson a day.
I was interested that Jameson was your drink of choice because I always think of that as being our fucking white boy East Coast trashy ass drink.
I went through phases.
Yeah.
I went through the vodka phase. I went through the tequila phase. And then I got with Jameson, and I was like, "Oh, I'm staying right here. This is where I'm staying." I smoked my cigar.
That's a nice one. I can't
Jameson.
lie. Yes.
I love that.
Sometimes
shit.
I forget to, because at some point, I don't know. Somehow I went from ordering Jameson at the bar to ordering Hennessy at the bar, and sometimes I still order Jameson, and it feels like a throwback when it hits my throat.
Dude, I love that motherfucking Jameson, dog. And it was that time. So it was like, yo, I just stopped cold turkey. You know what I'm saying? I went through the withdrawals, fucking hand shaking and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Did it get
Waking
bad?
up in the morning. It got kind of bad at sometimes, you know what I mean? But I thugged it out. Boom. Now I'm so good. Like, everybody could pour up around me. It don't bother me one bit. You know what I'm saying? It's just not even a part of my life anymore.
Wow, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? But, I retired. I had some good times, bro. We drunk like a motherfucker. Absinthe. Yeah. I was in there, bro.
Absinthe.
Yeah.
I've drank that a few times, and it never went well.
Never.
At all.
I was fighting a tree.
What do you mean? Fighting an actual tree?
Yeah.
I thought you meant I was like fighting weed.
No, I was fighting an actual tree.
Okay.
On absinthe, hallucinating and shit. You know what I'm saying? And, I woke up the next morning in my room and knuckles all fucked up. I'm like, God damn, what the fuck was going on?
So you're angry drunk at times?
I think I had levels. I had happy, emotional, angry. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm just happy and I'm drunk, all right, cool. But then if I drink more and more and more, I might move to an emotional stage where it's like, damn, man, I might shed a tear over a dead homie or somebody in my family or something like, you know what I'm saying? And shit like that. And then I'll get angry and shit. You know what I mean? So it's good, man. They call me East Side Crook when I get angry off Jameson. But this is good. I hung my jersey up, bro. It's all good,
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, definitely. Man, I was just thinking about how, because when I went and did that video in Long Beach with Stupid Young, he took me to this alley, and this is like the alley where him and his boys used to just hang out like as kids and stuff. And there's like 16-year-old kids kicking it in this fucking alley all day. And one of my filmers or whatever, like he was over there just having a conversation with the kids. He's like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" He's like, "Shit, gangbang." And like these are like 16-year-old kids, and some of them got guns on them. They like, that shit just like. It was weird for me because there was a part of me that was like, I love this shit just because I love seeing these kids just post up on the block, just actually appreciating just being in Long Beach, being who they are. But then at the same time, I'm like, this, like, as I've gotten older, like my perspective on this is so much sadder too because I know that they don't see anything outside of their experience right now.
You got to think bigger than your environment. That's what I tell the youngsters, man. Think bigger than your environment. You know what I'm saying? Visualize something that you want to achieve and hold that picture in your mind. Somehow the universe, whatever you want to call it, attracts that picture to you. Yeah. Whatever it is, that goal, that dream, that vision, put it in your mind and keep it in your mind. Your subconscious is very powerful. And, we don't get taught that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to train it to kick out the negative talk, the self-talk, and put in the positive and put in the visions, the goals. Because you're right. People, that's how you feel. You don't want to be no punk. You don't want to be no mark. You know what I mean? You walking down the street, motherfuckers is coming with all these aggressions and problems, and you want to be like, nigga, fuck you. You fuck with me, you know, it's on.
Yeah.
And that mindset, you know, you keep it. I know some people 50, 60 years old who still got that mindset. You know what I mean? So
We're still hyped on it.
yeah, man. Go to the pool hall in Long Beach. You're
Yeah.
going to see some 50, 60-year-old dudes in there sea walking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they mean, you know, don't come at them.
And there's a part of it that's beautiful, though, because there's a part of you that's like, man, I love the fact that you are still so in love with your culture. But then you also are like, man, like, there's a lot of negative shit that comes with that it's impossible to fully pull out of it.
And I want them to live. I want them to grow. I want them to experience things. I want them to travel. You know, I want them to open their mindset. You know, I just want that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, damn, I get it, because there's a lot of fascinating things about the streets. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit that that's all we used to look up to.
Yeah.
You know, the doctors and lawyers move out. The old story.
They move out.
They move out. They never come back.
Yeah.
So all you see is the dope dealer on rims. And he pull up, here, little motherfucker, give you $20. Like, damn, we gave you 20, thanks, OG, and all that type of shit. And you just fascinated by it. You know what I'm saying?
But were you always too smart for your age to really, like, fall in love with the bullshit?
I hung around people older than me. I dropped out of school real young, and nobody else in my age group was dropped out.
Right.
So I only had to hang with older dudes. So they gave me a lot of game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had some genuine older dudes, not the ones that'll put the gun in your hand and say, go shoot because you only gonna go to juvie. You know, if I shoot, I'm going to the pen. You know, it's your first offense. You do it.
Right.
I didn't have them. I had the motherfuckers like, yo, check this out. You know, go out there, man. This shit ain't what it look like. You know what I mean? Go out there and do something with your life and yada yada yada. So, you know, I was blessed in that department. But, you know, it's just it's easy to get caught up out there. If I'm walking down the street with my homeboy and somebody jump them, then, you know, I'm jumping in, and then now I got an enemy.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's a balance, man. You got to really walk that line, and just, you know, I found out that being a man, that's what's really gangster.
Yeah.
Just being a man,
And
a real man.
concept of that changes a lot over time. I feel like the one of the biggest things I learned over the past couple of years is that the responsibility that you take on is what makes you a man. Like, the shit that you take on, like having 5, 6, 7, 8 employees under me that I need to pay full fucking salaries to, and if I don't grind and if I don't make the money that I know I can make right now, that has made me such a better person.
Right.
Just knowing that I'm fucking over these innocent people who are literally waking up every day and doing everything they can to help me.
Right.
And I don't have kids, but I understand exactly what having kids does to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, paying my mother's rent, that was gangster to me. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that my kids got college funds, gangster.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Things like that is what attracts me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I see them, man. I see them come from little kids, 8 years old, 7 years old, to 19-year-old killers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, I remember you was just playing video games and you didn't have a care in the world. Now you're a killer.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and it's sad. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You in that environment. So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But we going to try to, you know, that's one of my life missions too, you know, is to really try to help rebuild the hood. You know what I mean? And be very charitable. I'm always charitable anyway. But, you know, just to show love. Love is really the strongest thing, bro.
How old's your oldest son?
My oldest son is 15.
So that's a crucial moment. Like, how do you teach him to protect himself and how to, you know, be able to move properly in the streets, but then also try to keep him on the right track?
You know what, man? My nephews taught me a lot. I would talk to them when they were 15 on some kiddie shit. Like, yo, you playing Xbox? Scoot over. Let's play Xbox.
Right.
Not knowing they fucking bitches already.
Right.
They hanging out with dudes doing drugs. They infatuated with certain hood people, and they think they claiming the game. You know what I'm saying? And
Because you just assume that they're gonna let you in on all that shit, right?
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah.
They treat, hey, Unc, hey, man, come on. It's just like a 15-year-old kid, just a regular kid.
That's the scary part, is that they're smart enough to not let you in on whatever the fuck they're doing.
And I learned from my nephews, like, yo, you better be real with your son, because look what happened with your neps. Now they good now, but they went through a lot of shit to get where they're at mentally now. And I'm like, yo, telling my son, I'm having real conversations with my son. You know what I mean? And he's smart. I said, what you tell motherfucker when they trying to get you to join they hood, or, they trying to get you to do something? He said, Dad, I tell him I'm an athlete.
Right.
He's like,
That must make you proud as fuck. I almost got the chills when you just said that.
Man,
just knowing that he
real.
like cares about something else that much, that it's an easy call.
Easy call for him. It made me super proud, bro. So, that's what it is, man. And traveling the world, you get to meet different people, see different people. You see what we all have in common. You see people that got same goals as you have and shit like that. And you start, your mind opens. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, let me pour some of this. I'm going to pour the best parts of me into my son. You know what I mean? Like, he don't see, like, around me, he not going to hear a bunch of music that he not supposed to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Is that a tough decision? What you can play around him and what you can't?
It's not for me, because when you get old enough, you can play it. I know you playing it with your friends.
Right.
That's cool. But when you come around Pops, it's going to be a code of honor and some respect in this house.
What crosses the line?
If he came in here and he was out, if I probably heard him singing along to some lyrics and cussing up a storm, because, when he visits me, he got his own room, he got everything, so I'm like, yo, I try to ease off. I try to give him some freedom, because he's becoming a man. But nah, dog, we not finna have no. I don't want that phone call.
Yeah.
When I was 15, that's the first time a motherfucker tried to kill me. You know what I'm saying? I got into a fight with some dudes, me and my brother and my cousin Doc, and handled it. Jumped in the car, drove off with the homie Jimmy G, and his carburetor was fucked up. They were following us in the car because they just got beat up. And when he hit the corner, his car shut off. And they ate that bitch up. Like, you know what I'm saying? My brother got shot. And, I'm 15 and I have to process this shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I start packing guns every day. I started being like, I'm not going to be a victim type of shit. And it took me through a real crazy phase in my life when I should have been focused on my future and, education and shit like that. So I know where you can go. I don't want that for my son. No way, no how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't cute to me. It's not impressive. I'm not like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do that. Nah, fuck that. You're going to be cool. You're going to get your education. You're going to be smart. You're going to get a self-education. You're going to get a financial education. You're going to do, if your basketball dream don't work, you're going to still be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah, I think about it. It's like, that's why my dad didn't understand me as a kid, is because he was never someone that was drawn towards crime or, a fucked up way of life or anything like that. So he didn't even know how to make sense of what I was clearly being drawn towards when I was getting arrested when I was young for fighting and graffiti and shoplifting, whatever it was at that time. It's like he was just like, he really didn't understand what I was being drawn towards. Your situation is kind of different because you've been through enough bullshit that you can look at your kid's life and know what he's going to be drawn towards.
Right.
And then ideally be able to hop in front and give him the warning because you've been through everything.
Yeah, I tell him, I'm like, dude, you might be on at 7-Eleven after school with your homies and y'all looking at funny ass videos on Say Cheese. And the cops roll by. They don't think that you just a kid out here having fun. They looking at you. You taller than me damn near.
Yeah.
They looking at you like, yo, these motherfucking thugs over there. Let's go sweat them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go flex on them. You know what I mean? And I got to get it in his mind, like, yo, look at Tamir Rice, 12 years old, toy gun, murdered. You know what I'm saying? Look at these kids that get shot up by the police. And then the police thought he was adult. You know what I mean? And shit like that. So, nah, always be aware. Keep your eyes open. Be smart. Use your head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, he's a good kid, man. You know what I mean? I'm proud of him, man. But, he see his pops out here. You know what I mean? He understand what it is. You know what I mean?
What in terms of your tour life at this point, how is it different than when you were younger? Do you have? I feel like everybody learns how to tour over time and develops a more sustainable version of what it is.
Yeah, because it was wild when we was young. We was fucking bitches in the fucking back in the alley of the venue. You know what I'm saying?
Social media age, that does not age as well. Like,
You know what
that
I'm
would be a
saying?
world star post for sure.
Man, you know what I mean? I'm in Aspen. I could barely breathe. The fucking air is so thin up there. And I'm fucking the shit out this bitch in the back of the venue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, we did wild shit. Got drunk, got high, whatever it was. Going to the strip club after the show. You know, missed the tour bus. Tour bus pull off. You know, got to ride with the bitch you just met. That's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Having bitches in your room where you lay with your fucking jewelry around and fucking money from the show and shit. You know what I mean? Like, we doing wild shit. You know what I'm saying?
What's it like now in comparison?
Man, I'm so square, bro. I'm a fucking proud ass square.
You got to be if you're going to keep it going in that game.
I get on the road, take me to my hotel.
Yeah.
I get to the hotel, I watch fucking TV. I go to the show, I come straight back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't fucking around.
Right. There's
You know what I mean?
no temptation that could get you moving around doing a bunch of
Nah,
shit.
man, it ain't. It's a wrap. Because I did so much, though. And I hate that that's what it is, but that's what it is. I did so much shit that it's like, yeah, I could chill now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I have to because we put ourselves in dangerous situations. Like, end up at somebody's fucking after party and they got fucking chopper laying against the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you fucking out of town, you naked. You don't got no fucking pistol. You know, you get in an argument with the wrong dude, it might end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just move a lot smarter. I'm older now. I act my age.
Yeah. That's the truth. Hey, man, we just did hour 40 minutes. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah. I got a question before we get out of here, man.
Let's do that.
What's the best dirt bike?
In terms of the BMX bike, which is the only thing I really know about, I mean, it's, you know what, at the end of the day, it's the same fucking factories in China that are making all of them. So
GT, Dyno, all that shit gets made?
that was the ill shit when I was a kid, but none of those companies really do. Like, I think GT barely even exists. I think Schwinn bought them, and I don't even know if they make them anymore. But
What? I remember all we wanted was a Diamondback,
Yeah.
a motherfucking GT, a Dyno, Mongoose. You know what I'm saying? That's all we fucking wanted. We used to steal them shits, man, but the karma used to come back quick. But we used to steal them fucking bikes, man. I was really deep into that shit. Like, I could build a fucking bike off of spare parts and put it together and all that shit.
That's pretty official, yeah.
Yeah, you know
I
what I'm
remember one
saying?
time my dad, like, because my friends would always roast me because I wasn't any good at working on bikes. And I remember one time my dad just, you know, because he was like a weird, like, John Wayne type. Like, he was a tough guy who didn't feel like he should really get too open with his emotions and shit. And I remember one time, so it stood out to me a lot. He goes, you know, I'm really proud of you that you're so good at working on your bike, that you can fix your bike, do all that stuff yourself. He's like, I'm really impressed by that. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, oh man, I'm so glad my old man doesn't know that my bike skills is a fucking punchline to my friends. But yeah, I mean, you know, that era of like riding bikes, because I only got started in like 97.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, that was such a amazing era when I think about being able to just see the X Games on TV, and Matt Hoffman and Dave Mirra were both active at that time. I mean, that was, and I still meet dudes all the time. I'll meet dudes in their 40s in Southern California who like had serious pedigrees. Like they were around all these dudes. They were out riding. It's like the shit is, BMX is still dope, but it's definitely back in the day was amazing.
Yeah. I always want to ask a expert on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to just be infatuated with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you're looking for something to blow a shitload of money on, there's a huge scene of dudes who collect all these classic bikes and restore them and all that shit. And a lot of that stuff goes for crazy ass money, but some of the stuff is so cool just because it looks exactly like it's just in a bike shop back in the 90s or the 80s or whatever.
That's the dope shit, man. We used to have them mags, put them bitches in the freezer. We had all, man, we was the ones that changed color.
Freezer. That's funny that you know that.
Yeah, we was on it, dog.
Yeah.
We was on it, man.
I
But
always wondered how much that actually worked, putting it in the freezer.
Probably didn't. Probably like blowing in a Nintendo cartridge. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not totally convinced that didn't work.
I know that Tecmo Bowl, all that shit. Man, but yo, this is dope, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I really do, man.
It's a big honor, honestly. It's always mind blowing for me when I get to meet the people that I like spent big parts of my fucking youth listening to and shit.
That's dope, man. I appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know No Jumper is that thing. That's that wave. You know what I mean?
I'm interested to see what your son thinks about you coming on this. Because a lot of times I get that from like,
Yeah.
you know, I did like DJ Semtex from the UK, and he pulls up with his, and I realize he's got like a 17-year-old son that's like an aspiring SoundCloud rapper, and that's why he wanted to do the interview, is because his son told him it would be dope.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, oh shit,
yeah,
all right.
Listen, as soon as you drop it, he's gonna shoot me a text. Hey, Dad, I just saw you.
I saw you talking about me at an hour and 30 minutes
Stop
in.
playing all that fucking Fortnite.
Ooh, Fortnite, man. That's, something like that makes me feel old when I realize like I have no chance of understanding Fortnite.
Bro.
Like, I mean, I understand and I've watched videos of it, but I cannot do those controls.
Bro, he's like, Dad, let me do some chores and earn some money. I'm like, all right, cool. Go do this, do that, do this. Give him the money, the cash in his hand. No, I don't want cash. I just want you to
V-Bucks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You
Oh
don't
my
want
God.
cash?
Yeah.
Like, that shit is just like, oh my God, I'm getting old. And then he's fucking buying new outfits for his characters and shit.
Yeah.
Like, spending digital money. Like, dude, you realize you just changed the color of a dude's jeans for $40, bro.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, that's confusing shit to me. No, when it comes to money, though, you know what's crazy is I was just in Australia for 2 weeks, and I've been traveling for about 15 years and shit. So I remember how annoying it always was to change your currency over in other countries and stuff. I was just in Australia for 2 weeks, and I did one cash transaction, which was to withdraw $400 to buy a bullshit ass ounce of weed, and that was it. And even then, I was paying for weed with PayPal. I probably shouldn't say that, but you know, just I didn't need any cash. I finally got a fucking Australian bill, and I was like, man, this is so cool looking. It's got a clear piece.
Yeah,
everything.
man. I used to give my euros and whatever to my kids and shit so they could keep it and shit. But you're right. Like, it's no need to have a lot of cash on you no more. You know what I mean? I feel bad when I walk by the homeless people and shit, and they like, yo, can I get $1? Because I used to be like, oh, here goes 20, here goes, whatever. I just don't have cash no more.
Yeah.
So, if you're homeless out there, get one of those fucking things where you can run a credit card. You know what I'm saying?
They probably are doing it, which is a shame, because that means that the ones who are getting the money are the ones who could already afford a fucking
I mean, they got a bank account and everything.
I used to live downtown, and I would see motherfuckers like homeless dudes posted up with little laptops like plugged into the wall and shit, and I'm like,
shit crazy.
how the fuck are you not getting robbed for that right away by some other crackhead?
Yeah, and how are you not robbing shit that's outside? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see all this shit just outside stores and storefronts and shit. Like, damn, if I was homeless, I'm getting all that shit. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you
first
gonna do
time-
to me? Give me a roof at the jail?
The first time I saw in Brooklyn that there was just, mad areas that were just way too hood for like, hipster type people to live in. And like towards the era where I left, like 2010, I would ride my bike by one of these fucking warehouse buildings, and there would be like 10 people sitting outside on their laptops outside on the street. And you're literally 3 blocks away from projects where people get killed every month or every week or whatever. And I was just like, how the fuck did New York change this much? I only been here like 6-7 years.
Man, that reminds me of being in Miami at the fucking Hit Factory. You have, like, I was out there working with Scott Storch years back, and he pulled up in the Phantom, Puff in the other room. He got the Bentley out there. Timberland bring the Porsche 911 through. Somebody got a tour bus laid out in the parking lot. And then right across the street, you see poverty. Yeah, right through the gate. You see these motherfuckers up there. They trying to look and see who's in the studio, and sheets hanging up instead of curtains.
Yeah.
And just poor. And I'm like, damn, just right across the fucking street.
It's ugly when you see it side by side.
Side by side is ugly as fuck.
I was in
man.
Cape Town, and I seen that so bad. Like the biggest, nicest high-rise buildings right on the fucking beach. These houses that must have been so many millions of dollars. And then there's shanty towns like half a mile away where there's no running water. Like you said, like, sticks and sheets to make walls and
man.
shit. It's like,
I hope it motivates them, man.
but our society cannot exist like that for too long.
Yeah,
Like, at
because
some
then the
point, this
poor
shit
gonna
has
eat
to-
the rich.
Yeah, at some point it's just too egregious to have that in your face. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't find myself drawn towards like rich shit, like fancy shit. I'm still in that like young ass mind state. I never liked, I just never liked people who were super outrageously flaunting their wealth.
Materialistic
That's
and
just
all
not
that.
me. I don't think I could ever be like that.
Yeah, me neither. I went through a phase when I first got some money, buying a lot of shit I didn't need. But now, I don't even give a fuck, dog.
No.
Like, I literally will walk to the grocery store from my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers will pull over like, hey, man, you okay? You need a ride? What's going on? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm chilling. I
Yeah.
got my headphones on. And you know, you don't do that in Cali because Cali is the car capital. You know, maybe in New York,
Right.
but out here, if they see you walking, they think you broke or you
How
fucked
many
up.
blocks are you away from the Vons or wherever you're going?
Shit, I might get a good 3 miles in.
3 miles. That's
You
nice.
know, there and back.
I love a good walk. That's one of the
Yeah.
worst parts about being like semi-famous is that I feel a little bit more nervous walking around.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah.
But see, I always like to test my awareness.
Right.
I get pissed at myself if a motherfucker creep up on me and I didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, that motherfucker could have had me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just cool though. You know, I walk, man. You get your thoughts together. You know what I mean? Leave the cars in the fucking driveway and take off walking, man. I mean, you know, this materialistic shit is cool, but it ain't gonna last forever. You gotta understand what's really valuable in life: love, friendship, family. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So you know, it's I'm in a great space, man. I'm just. You know, you caught me right here, bro. This is probably in the best mental space that I've been in my entire life.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Yes, sir.
Damn. Hour 50. I ain't done a long one like that in a minute.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, yo, it was honestly a huge honor to get to have a conversation with you, man.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
You
For
want to
sure.
promote anything or tell them what
Yes.
to check out?
Yes.
The weekly series just ended, right?
Nah,
Or it's
weekly
still going?
series going
Okay.
all year. I'm week 14 right now or something like that. You know, week 13, 14, I don't know. Check out the weekly series on Spotify. You know what I mean? I release them on all digital platforms. They come out on Spotify first. I got Crook's Corner. You know what I mean?
Still doing the podcast thing.
Well, Crook's Corner is just engagement.
Okay.
I just want to talk to the people about what I love: rap music, hip hop. We're gonna turn it into a visual podcast in April. You know what I mean? So, you know, it'd be a pleasure to have you on the show. You know what I'm
shit,
saying?
that'd be
Come
crazy.
through, talk. You know, I got my little brothers. We started a group called Family Business.
Okay.
We dropped the EP today. It's called Fresh Ink. This chick, man, she been following us and she got the logo tatted on her. It's a brand new brand.
Wow.
So I used her post that she with the tattoo as the artwork for the EP. And it's dope. It got a lot of good music on there. It ain't just like everybody trying to out rap each other. My little brothers got hella skills. It's a dope EP. We did a whole album with Royce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Royce is producing now.
Okay.
So we went to Detroit, stayed out there for a couple weeks, did an entire album, played it for M. He went bananas.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So we, you know, the Family Business brand, that's next. And, you know, Crook's Corner, and those are my focuses right now. You know what I mean? Just trying to create platforms for up and coming artists. You know what I mean? I'm the artist, director of branding and development for artists at a company called New Wave Distribution.
Okay.
It's a cutting edge digital platform where you could upload your whole album from your phone, artwork, everything, and it will hit every single streaming platform in the world.
Okay.
It's really good, and we don't charge like crazy fees like nobody else. So it's like, you know, you can cut out the middleman and just chase your dream. So I'm over there doing that, and you know, I'm just living, man. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoying myself, talking about hip hop everywhere I go and doing what I love.
I think I'm probably going to, like, the mental image that I'm going to leave this conversation with is going to be you with headphones in, walking 3 miles to Vaughn's in a really positive headspace.
Boom.
That's inspirational right there.
Word.
Appreciate you, man. Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.